we are moving from VAT increase to fuel levy increase. The $1 million question is who's fooling who? As MK Party, our position is very clear. We think National Treasury, under the leadership of Minister Kodongwana, seems to be taking South Africa for a fool, or South Africans at least for a fool. We are saying this, Chairperson, because it doesn't require a rocket science or maybe a rocket scientist to determine that, firstly, fuel levy is an indirect tax. And it's not just an indirect tax, but it's a very, very regressive one because of its multiplier effect. Fuel levy increases the price of fuel. And we all know what is indirectly affected by that. Ukudla, transport, and who's using this transport? Who's buying a lot of this food? Poor households, those that we claim to be representing and championing their cause here, are adversely affected because the last percentage of their disposable income is used on these items. So you can't come in here and say, this is a pro-poor, a people-centered budget. We are very clear as MK that as South Africans, we are taken for a fool. And I think, Minister, you know very well that how does the cost of transport affects workers? I mean, you are a former trade unionist. The mobility of workers is adversely affected by any increase on transport cost. Dademasondo, as a scholar of economics, but also a Communist Party leader, I hope you are still one. Or maybe you still carry the DNA of a communist at least. You know very well the impact of this increase on the people that you claim to be championing their cause. This indirect tax is extremely regressive in the sense that it's going to have a negative impact on production input. The input costs are going to rise as a result of this regressive move. And as they rise, definitely, we know that our unpatriotic business sector will pass on these increases to the consumers through higher prices for the goods that the people will be buying from them, but also for services that they will be providing. I don't think they will have any other option but to do that because their assignment is the bottom line, which is to realize profit. Then the question is, where is this pro-poor budget that the minister has been telling the world of? Where is this people-centered budget that National Treasury is advocating to be captured in this budget speech? We want to grow economy. How are you going to grow economy if our mobility of our people will be restricted by high cost of transport? How are you going to grow economy if the unemployed, those who don't have money, won't have money even to travel, to go for interviews? Let's be practical. Stop fooling South Africans. This budget is not a pro-poor budget. This budget, I can tell you next year, honorable members, because I know some of you have been whipped by those who are in control of this GNU relationship of yours. We will be here addressing the worst case scenario of the South African economic landscape because of this nonsensical proposal that has been tabled to the nation. In the long run, or maybe the immediate, because I can see Treasury seems to be suffering from the poverty of ideas in terms of dealing with the budget process. You are running for quick lying, low hanging fruits, which is the vulnerable. Of course, you'll realize the revenue that you are projecting. But in the long run, the danger is that economic growth that we all need, the job creation that we all need, will not be realized. As if this is not enough, Honorable Mauto said something very important. We raised this thing. You seem not to be listening. Even majority of the people who came to public hearings raised this thing. You haven't considered the submission of looking into the personal income tax aspect, because we said without inflationary adjustment for tax for tax brackets, the increases that will be realized by the working class will be meaningless. So it's clear that you might be listening to someone, but not the people that you claim to be leading. But anyway, we all know now who's in charge. We know who's owning GNU. That's why we are surprised by the sudden about 10 of DA to support this particular burdensome budget, process. How do you say you don't support VAT because you take care of the poor? But the most regressive indirect tax system get the first support from you. Then you expect us to take you serious. This is hypocritical. If not whimsical, I mean, this is laughable. It's clear that the masters and the owners of GNU have cracked the whip.
1 minute, Honorable Van Rooyen.
Well, we still have a lot to say, but what you should know, Chairperson, is that this doesn't come closer. This budget speech doesn't come closer to assisting this country going forward. In fact, this was more of a fireplace story where our people were taken for a ride. This is not a budget speech that should be supported. Thank you.
Thank you.